uh, Nhl Tuesday today is? Okay. All right. I only have a little time. Then I'm going to be eating in about 15 minutes. So I'll just give you, when Bobby gets here, we will break down what's going on. First of all, before he gets here, I will tell you what's going on in hockey. Hockey, I'm getting just all kinds of Buffalo. But what I'm going to be doing on my main big bind is probably fade that. And I usually do that when I have just an overwhelming amount of one team. So that's what I'm going to do. It's going to have mostly Buffalo and MME, but in the single entry, I'll probably play something like San Jose or Arizona or something like that. Hey, what's up, Jacob? Mr. Rhodey, how are you? Haven't seen you in a while.
What's up, Sheets?
Hey, what's going on? So I only have like 15 minutes, so I'll just share. I mean, I just shared like hockey for like 2 seconds, and then not too much has changed for me yet. You know, it would be nice to know if Chris Dunn is starting, I guess. That's not going to happen for a while.
Nice to know if Aaron Fox is playing.
Oh, I didn't even know that was in the offing.
Yeah. I mean, that game is already sort of asking to be stacked anyway, like just Sabonis, you know, and then on the other side, you've got both Jalen Williams actually. But you've got what's it called? You've got Giddey, you've got Dort, you've got what's his name? Who's in play? Isaiah Joe. All of these guys are kind of interesting already. So to play them with Sabonis would be fine, even with Fox. But I'm thinking maybe the right thing is to play a few of these guys, maybe like a Dort. I think you could even go. I think Joe takes away from Giddey, but one of Dort with either Joe and Giddey, or Joe or Giddey, or Dort with Williams and Joe, or something like that, with Sabonis on the other side. I just can't get over that. That game feels very stackable, and we don't have a major piece of information. And if it breaks your way, you could be in a gold mine. Now, what it also does is if De'Aaron Fox is out, it means that, you know, we're going to look for other guys in the backcourt. I think Malik Monk would be the best play, but I think that the projection darling will be Davion Mitchell. We just know how that story can go sometimes.
What do you make of the studs tonight?
So I do think Sabonis is like a next second level one. I'm high on Anthony Davis, very high on Anthony Davis. I actually think he's being pretty significantly underprojected, and I like Jokic as my two favorites.
You like him more than Lillard.
Lillard is right there. I was going to say Lillard is right there with them, but it's a little different. I feel like there's no. I don't feel like there's a whole. And by the way, Jamal Murray may not play too. Still, like. You never know with Denver, because you know he's only played 2 games now out of the last 10, and Denver's kind of in the driver's seat right now. They're 5 games up with 20 to go. So if Jamal Murray's out, it makes Jokic an even better play, which is my argument for Jokic and Anthony Davis. I mean, you take away. So I'm counting Westbrook. I'm pretending if there was a slate where Westbrook and LeBron were out, we would just play Anthony Davis and he'd be 75% owned. But because they have this influx of new guys, he's sort of getting a little bit forgotten, I think, far more than he should be. And I think another thing you can do in terms of value, like obviously you want to play these Lakers, but I think maybe being overweight on Rui and underweight on Vanderbilt might be viable. Vanderbilt does all the other things on the court. I love him as a player, but the results don't have to be there. This team is going to need some offense, and they do have Beasley, Schroeder, and Davis, but Rui's a guy who can score, and he's going to be out there for minutes in a fast-paced game. I think that's an interesting way to get different, is to play Rui over Vanderbilt.
I will tell you who my most leveraged player that I think can actually do something tonight is.
Fox is out.
Who's out? Fox?
He's out. So,
well, never mind that. Well, I shouldn't say never mind. It's just going to make. It's going to make Sabonis a better play, and it's going to make Chris Dunn a little less owned, I think.
Maybe.
So I guess Malik Monk, like you said, is gonna.
Monk and Mitchell's going to be the one who projects, but I'm just saying it doesn't have to be Mitchell with the way that they play. I'm just guessing with the projection, and again, we don't know who's starting. That game starts at 8.
So I do want to give this take here. I have 45% of a guy right now. I don't know if I'm going to be able to play someone in this price range if I get more value from Fox. But we talked about it a little bit before. I have like 45% Walker Kessler right now. So that's my I guess that's my leverage, I guess.
That's a big one.
Yeah. So it's first of all, he always does well for me for openers. Second of all, he's projecting well enough, and people are playing these other Utah guys. Why can't I play Kessler? I don't know. So,
I agree with you.
So that's where the majority. That's where my main leverage is with him.
Did you get to any? Because I've got about 40% right now of. Actually, I have him on FanDuel too. I have DeRozan a lot.
Yeah, I was going to try to force him in. Actually,
he's one of my. Look, I'm going to trust the Reed play, like the Jimmy Butler last night play. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I'm going to manually take out some Luka. I just still feel as though his projections.
Oh, is Luka's birthday? I didn't realize it was his birthday.
Oh,
that could go either way with him. I'll give him a little bump because.
No, my point is though, I still think that his projections are still weighted towards games with no Kyrie. And I'm telling you, I think all of these studs have I don't want to say issues, but I don't think any of them are like locks.
I agree.
Who's to say that Morant doesn't outscore all of them? For example, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, or Sabonis now probably.
Or Sabonis.
Sabonis will be the one who gets owned now.
Yeah.
That Sabonis Davis lineup that I had it built earlier, it's not feeling as low owned as it was going to be.
Right.
But I do think it affects Anthony Davis's ownership a little bit, and I think it's interesting how you view this game. If you think the Lakers stay in this game, like I have a lineup with 4 Lakers and Ja on the other side, and this is the question from Rich Feed. It's a very, very, very difficult question to answer, but Sheets, we could get a crack at it. Can we explain good chalk versus bad chalk? He used Dunn. More the bad chalk versus cheap Lakers being good chalk. Like, I don't think that either of those is necessarily true. The truth is there's some variance with Chris Dunn, probably more than we're acting like, or more than the projections would like us to think. But it's still hard to ignore that he's playing minutes. He's very active, and they don't have a whole lot of guards available. And he may start still. So I don't know how to weigh him. And then the Lakers guys, I'd like to see the Lakers starting lineup before I make my final commitments on that. But I still think the Lakers guys, obviously there's a huge amount of offense to pick up for. But I think Beasley is like hard for him to fail. I actually think it's pretty hard for Schroeder to fail. I do think Vanderbilt has bust paths. I think Austin Reeves has upside, and I think Brewery has upside. And those are the 2 off the bench you might be able to get at lower ownership. But in terms of good versus bad chalk, it's something people say a lot, but the truth is a lot of it is speculative. And if a game turns into a 30-point blowout, it doesn't matter anyway. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to generally say what's good chalk and what's bad chalk. Generally, the guys who play more minutes are safer. Generally, the guys who are more fantasy point per minute are better for tournaments because they have more upside. But I don't know how else to put it. Sheets, you can throw in anything if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, I like to consider the better chalk is the ones that have the ball in their hands. So if you got like the starting point guard, I think those are usually the better chalks, like of those cheapos, than like the wings and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I'd say like, yeah, all things being equal, I think that's pretty accurate. As long as it's not like a guy who's listed as a point guard who's like Aaron Holiday or something, like. That's not that would be a tough one to ever call good chalk.
Right.
Unless the guys playing, that would be like the only time. But yeah, it is a constant difficult thing to try to weigh those things. And I'm going to have to rebuild my lineup. So after Sheets gets out of here, I probably won't be here. So guys, fire in a bunch of questions. I'm happy to answer anything. And we're happy to talk through anything. My builds are still fairly similar to what they were earlier, but I'm waiting for the update on the Fox to see where I'm going to go. But what's going to happen is Monk, Sabonis, and then you get into the other potential plays like Davion Mitchell, Kevin Huerter, Terrence Davis. That's my problem with Davion Mitchell is it could be Terrence Davis. It could be Monk playing point guard. It could be Huerter. Like it's not like they don't have other guards. And one of them probably succeeds, but usually in that situation, I'm just going to put my money on Monk. Just because the upside is so much greater than everyone else's.
Yeah.
I do think Terrence Davis is every bit as good a play as Davion Mitchell. And I do think you're going to start wanting to. I mean, you're going to see these guys start to project as like right there with some of the Lakers stuff. Boy, the big projection bump to Harrison Barnes, huh?
Oh God, here we go. And away we go, right?
It never works, and we won't stop trying. The weirdest part is then when it works like randomly. I'm like, oh, I had him the last 5 times as chalk. You know what? No one's going to play him tonight. I'll play him. And then he puts up like 50, like the one time a year. Like, you know what I mean? Gafford or Beasley? Beasley is the answer. And I think both are good plays. Sheets, what is your?
I think they're different plays.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a pretty good question, actually.
I think the correct answer is definitely Beasley for tournament. If you're a tournament player, like Beasley's upside is just immensely higher.
Right.
But I also think that and I think Gafford has a million bust paths. The only thing that Gafford's got going for him tonight. By the way, I love Avdia in that game, and nobody's really talked about him much, but like I really do. Avdia, DeLon Wright, both really good plays that we haven't really talked about. But I think Gafford is more of a you're hoping you get your double and you get your 30. You know, Beasley's like could score 30 real life points tonight.
Right.
So you're right; they are very different.
Oh yeah, look at oh my God, all these Sacramento guys just went through the roof.
Yeah, and to answer K9's question, I do like Dort on FanDuel with no Shea. And I like Dort. I like Dort a little bit on both sides. I like Giddey a little bit on both sides. I think these guys are getting forgotten about. I think I like Isaiah Joe a little bit, but of course, especially now, they're going to be forgotten about because the Sacramento stuff is going to stand out.
But this is kind of nuts.
It's a weird thing to have them all projected there because what's going to happen is one of these guards is going to score like 35 and the other one's going to have like 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Between Mitchell and Davis. And then you get into the Monk part of it where Monk is always Monk has the highest ceiling by far. He could score 50 fantasy points, no problem. Like he really could do it. He scored 45 real life points the other day. But so he'd be the one I think you want more to take more of a shot on. The problem is I think he also is going to be more popular than the other ones. I think Terrence Davis ends up the lowest owned, and I'm totally fine with it. To answer Kobe's question, I'm totally fine with Terrence Davis. I'm good with it. And just before you all click the Harrison Barnes button, I might even have him in one lineup. But just think, why am I playing this guy instead of Keegan Murray? Just think about it for a second. If you're going to click that button. I agree with Dave. Klay Thompson, I think, is a really good tournament play tonight. Another guy who's going to be forgotten about. Just draining threes from all over the place, taking a million shots. Great matchup for it. So I'm totally on board with Klay. I actually like the idea of a little Klay Dame. What about that, Cheech? Can you get two guys to make 30 combined threes in the NBA these days? I think it's possible.
Yeah, Dame and Dame.
Well, Dame and Klay. Klay just made 12 the other day.
I expect Dame can get 15, and then the other Dame can get 15.
What happens in the second half?
Yes, exactly. Dude, it's pretty crazy what that guy's doing. I mean,
it is pretty crazy. He averaging 40 over the last.
Well, we got to get your buddy on here again.
What's that?
The Jack guy.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, with what Jimmy Butler did last night, and then what Dame has been doing, do you think he would be making a fortune if he was still playing? Every play, every day was that guy.
All right, I'm going to split.
All right, good luck.
Okay.
Have a good one, bud.
All right. I'll just leave this going.
That would be fun, MJ. Yeah, I'm going to keep rolling just for a little bit. I don't know. I'll get out of here, too. Hey, thanks a lot to Nick. Appreciate it, buddy. And let's see. They go back and forth to break through. Yeah, MJ, I'm telling you, there is a path where that's something like that kind of thing. It does happen. I'm telling you. Davion Mitchell starting, which is going to make him hard to ignore. I did need exactly 3K for a player, so I have to go rebuild that lineup and figure out exactly why I needed the 3K, and then play at least one lineup with Davion Mitchell. I'm a little more skeptical about this than I'm curious where the field ends up on him. Let's put it that way. You have access to the SaberSim projections. Wait till they keep updating. And Davion Mitchell is certainly not going to be a 0.5% owned, but I bet you they're updated a little bit more right now. And I think he's going to look. I think you're going to see him in somewhere in like, I want to say like the 30s or 40s range is where people are going to own him. And I would be under that. But if he was 20, I might consider being over it just because of the upside. Although I still like the Terrence Davis play. The other plays feel better. That's the problem I'm having with it. So I'm just going to answer that being near the field on Mitchell is probably fine. I don't think I want to go overweight the field unless he's really low owned for some reason. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you, guys. Really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Really nice of you to say. It's pretty funny because I put the build up on our site, and for once nobody copies it. You know, like it would have been nice to get some people taking down some single entries or something else. You know, with that exact build. That was my early build. It was the one I built at 9 a.m. or whatever, and it was the same one that won the tournament. So it's pretty cool. I literally posted the exact build. It was my early build, and I never changed it because it didn't make sense to. Anyway, guys, any more questions or thoughts? I'm happy to answer anything for another few minutes. I'm going to get out to building my lineups and having to include a lot more Sacramento than I initially was going to. I do still like DeRozan. Yes, I do, Nick. Let's repeat it tonight, buddy. Let's do it. Let's go. And sorry about my face. It's getting better. I got some stuff to take the swelling down. So hopefully I'll be back in business with my face soon. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Who copied it? Slick, who copied? Oh no, other people had the same lineup, but they weren't people who copied it. Those guys spend so much money gambling. They don't watch the show. Even my buddy who I tied with, he didn't copy the lineup. He was shocked. Exactly. We need 100K. No chops tonight. I tell you what, I'm pretty sure there's not going to be a chop at the top of the leaderboard, even with all the potential chalky builds. I don't think you have to worry about it tonight. I tied it with 2 others, but they didn't copy my build. I'm saying they didn't like actually read the build that I posted on our site that all of the users only have exposure to because they aren't members of the site, so they wouldn't have been able to see it. The core plays still stand, but they don't really stand. I mean, no, I can't change it while I'm on air, and then I've got to finish building my lineup. So no, the core plays would look more like Davion Mitchell, Malik Monk would be in there, Sabonis would be in there. Oh, he was already in there, Sabonis. Malik Monk, Davion Mitchell, Sabonis. And I think that OKC becomes much more playable too. So it's a little different cores right now. It's just impossible to keep them updated because everything changes in basketball. You can do it in other sports very easily, but not in basketball. We still have news we don't even know about yet. But I mean, in general, I still like all the players that I tagged. Now I would be shifting a lot of that over to Sacramento, personally. Although I would be careful to not play. I don't think I want like 3 guys from Sacramento unless I'm stacking. I think I want 2. Sabonis and Monk, the most obvious. Mitchell, Harrison Barnes, even. I think Herter is a better play than Harrison Barnes. I really do. Maybe not because he loses minutes the other way, but Barnes will play a lot of minutes and the usage should go up, but it just feels weird to play Harrison Barnes as anything owned on any double-digit ownership on a slate like this. It just doesn't feel right. Anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all. That's essentially where I'm at. I'm at MJ. Really good question as always. I think we are pushing it back a little bit. I do like the Lakers though, but I'm also stacking the Lakers game. I'm using a little bit of Ja with the Lakers. I'm also using a little bit of DeRozan in the early games, and I'm using Denny Avdia quite a bit with little pieces of Bradley Beal, Kyle Kuzma, and Daniel Gafford. So those are the guys who I'm chopping up. I'm not playing all 8 of them like in one lineup. I do have one lineup where I have nobody after like 7:30, which is probably going to change now that I incorporate some of the King stuff in. But yeah, I think mostly if you can push back to the 8 p.m. games Eastern, you feel good about it. But you're probably going to need to have at least a Laker or 2. You're probably going to want at least 1 or 2 Washington pieces, and you're probably going to want to consider some DeRozan in your lineups just because I think it's a really good tournament play. Thanks a lot to everybody. We appreciate you. Good luck, and hopefully we'll have another big winning night to talk about tomorrow. Gearing up for the $1 million tournament on Wednesday. So tomorrow's the $1 million